middle, as we're going to do our quick picks of the top 25 teams going into week 8. Here is our top 25. A few bye teams, Navy and Illinois, are not participating this weekend, so all 23 rest will be playing. This is what the big graphic looks like, but let's zoom in to the bottom half, as we'll start with number 24, Texas. They headed over to Lexington to take on the Wildcats. We're going to go with Texas. They just had a nice big win in the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma. The reason why? Well, their defense and halftime adjustments, which is probably going to be another thing here in Lexington. Stoops probably also coaching for his job and getting a marquee win to possibly get another year there is going to be big. But ultimately, Texas should be winning on the road. We got Tulane hosting Army there at number 23. We're going to go Green Wave. They should be struggling as well, I think. Interesting line. Minus 9.5 points in favor of Tulane. That has dropped since the openings, I guess, yesterday at 10.5. I would expect Tulane to win by that much, but it should be a close game throughout. And then they finish with about a 10-point difference there. Nebraska. New boys to the top 25. I don't think we've ever actually ranked the Huskers whatsoever in any of our previous SPOP top 25s in 2024 or 2023. Regardless, Nebraska, they will be taking on Minnesota there in Minneapolis. We're going to go with the Huskers. Their stock has been rising in terms of the lines. Started at 6.5, is now set at 9. This game is also on Friday, so a little bit of a short week to prepare, which I think would actually work out for the Cornhuskers in that. And Dylan Raiola should be coming up clutch, and I think it's going to be a similar kind of game that Tulane and Army have, where the Cornhuskers struggle. I don't think they're going to be behind like they were last week against Maryland, but continue to be on top throughout, I think, and ultimately win there on the road. Next up, we have the battle on the blue turf. This will determine really who will have the number 1 seed in the Mountain West Championship game, and that's between Boise State and UNLV. The Running Rebels have not beaten the Broncos since the 70s. Okay? And then on top of that, to add more fuel to the fire that I'm creating, because you already see my pick there on the screen, minus 11.5, and that has been rising since yesterday. It started at 10.5 for the Boise State Broncos. And don't forget, guys, you got to remember, there is a reason why the room is blue, and I'm never not going to pick my Broncos. Because, yeah, they're going to handle business. UNLV's defense, if they do not show up, this game might get ugly. But we'll have to wait and see, as it's a noon kickoff. Kind of different. The last 2 matchups haven't been in and around that time either. I think you have to go back to 2023's game, if I'm not mistaken, where UNLV played Boise around that kickoff time. But yeah, let's go Broncos. Cincinnati heads over to Stillwater to play Oklahoma State. We're going to go with the Bearcats, who are favored by 22 points, which has been rising from 21 on Sunday, which is not surprising. I think that line might come true. Oklahoma State has just been getting ragdolled by everyone so far that they have met in the Big 12. They have not shown any kind of pulse since getting rid of Mike Gundy, and I think they're going to continue to be dead in the water there in Stillwater against Cincinnati. So let's go Bearcats. USF, nice big win on the road last week. They come back home in Tampa to host an in-state foe, and that's Florida Atlantic. the Bulls are favored by 21 points. Yeah, a lot of big margins here in terms of where the lines are being set. That is dropped from 22. I think that should hold. It might be a game where people that are actually putting money on it just don't know how good this Bulls teams is. And we'll definitely see it as they put a ton of points on the Mean Green last week. They've been putting a ton of points on everyone but Miami, who they played earlier this season and got, unfortunately, whacked there in Hard Rock. And they should be doing a lot of whacking of an owl this upcoming weekend. As let's go Bulls. Duke, they host Georgia Tech there in Durham. One of the most interesting lines this upcoming weekend. Duke yesterday were favored by 3 points. It has dropped now to 1.5. Super interesting. I don't know exactly what's going on there for the Yellow Jackets because I haven't seen any kind of injury news, any kind of loss of players for the weekend. So it's kind of like puzzling to see Georgia Tech not being favored as they're undefeated. They've beaten some decent teams. And, Colorado just beat Iowa State. They handled business in Boulder. Cyclones didn't. They also beat Clemson already. I don't think that was much of a fluke win, to be quite honest with you. They earned it. They're at home. But going up against Duke, who got slowly blown out by Illinois. Forgetting that other loss they had already this season. And they also lost to Tulane. So it's kind of, again, really bizarre to see the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets not favored. We're still going to go with them. They're undefeated. There's no reason why they should not be winning this game, even with them not favored. I don't know what Vegas is thinking over there. Staying up a little too late. Maybe need to get some sleep there in the city of sin. As we keep moving to UAB hosting Memphis. We're going to go Tigers for sure because there's another massive margin. Minus 21.5 points for Memphis. As they'll be handling business. UAB will not be bouncing back because Trent Dilford just got fired. If anything, it's going to be more spanking of the cheeks. As Memphis should be, I think, blowing out UAB. And proving why that line that has been set between them and the Blaze will be true. So let's go Memphis. Last game on the graphic, we got Missouri heading over to Auburn, and another interesting one where the ranked team is not favored. Auburn, 2 points. 2 points. They got 2 points on them going into the week. That has stayed since yesterday. I was surprised. I know Auburn has been playing really, really competitive football. They just have not been lucky with a lot of calls, to be quite honest with you. And I don't think they're going to get lucky this weekend. I think Missouri will be taking out some unfortunate anger on the Tigers, as we have a little bit of a cat fight as well there. Missouri, they did not play well against Alabama last week, and they only lost by 3 points. That's how good this Missouri team is, and I think they're going to continue to be good, as they're also in prime position to be that number 3, number 4 SEC team to get into the playoff. So hopefully they bounce back and don't lose here on the road, as they're not favored. And that's another pick where we're going against the grain here in the top 25. As we're now moving to the top half of your SPOP top 25. Let's start over with, again, the bottom game there with Vanderbilt hosting LSU. It's a top 25 matchup. And another weird one where the lower ranked team, this is not a non-ranked situation like the last two that we talked about, but a lower ranked team is favored. It's kind of understandable because Vanderbilt is at home, but I don't know the last time, maybe even ever, where Vanderbilt has been favored against the LSU Tigers. Commodores have a 2.5 point spread going in their favor. That is just insane. It has dropped down from 3. I think it's kind of understandable as well. LSU hasn't been playing good offense whatsoever. Vandy's defense, pretty decent. You know, their only loss is to Alabama, which was pretty much a close game up until the end there. And then on top of that, maybe because of the offense that the Commodores have, and if they can keep themselves on the field longer for, again, deeper drives, they can definitely get the job done against LSU, and that's why we're going with them. Better running attack. LSU non-existent run game. Their over-reliance in Garrett Nussmeier is not paying off, and on top of that, their offensive line looks like it's not getting much better. We kind of knew that was going to be a thing going into 2025. They lost 4 guys, if I'm not mistaken, to the NFL. I think it's 3.5 technically. Regardless, yeah, this is basically a mini playoff game that we have this upcoming weekend. Because if LSU loses this game, they're basically dead in the water in making the playoffs, and for the Brian Kelly experiment there in Baton Rouge might be coming to an end at the end of the year, which not surprised. We got Miami, number 10 there, hosting Louisville, who is a 1-loss team. They lost to Virginia a couple weeks ago. Not going to go with Louisville. I think in the offseason, I was favoring the Cardinals. But this Miami defensive front, very legit. I think that's the best part about this team. And then the offense should complement them pretty well as well. Carson Beck, he really likes to slice and dice. The only way Louisville wins this game is they just overwhelm Miami in the run game, who again, I think is legit. Maybe the best run defense in the country. We'll see if they can do that, as they have 2 good running backs there for the Cardinals. Got to lean into that run and be successful. This one's a Friday night kickoff. The Hurricanes are favored by 13.5. That has been rising since yesterday, originally starting at 13. And I think at the end of the day, that's how much Miami will be in and around with a win there at home. BYU versus Utah in the Holy War. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I got the graphic wrong. I'm going to have to fix that in our clips. Regardless, yeah, we're going to go Utah. I know it says BYU there in the big graphic. We have it for Utah. BYU has been digging themselves into holes and been figuring out how to get out of them. I don't think they're going to do it this upcoming weekend. Whittingham will want to win this game by any means necessary, as this most likely is his final season, and getting a massive win against his alma mater. I would say biggest rival, even though there's been resurfacing clips of him saying, like, who's our rival again? Oh, BYU? Oh, yeah, we forgot about them. But yeah, Utah should be getting the job done. They need to control the line of scrimmage. I think they have a little bit more of an edge there, personally. But this one can go either way, to be quite honest with you. And then this upcoming weekend should be our watch along for week 8. As we're going to be doing 2 years in a row of the Holy War. Come and join us here on the couch, as that'll be on our Clips channel. And continuing into the top 10, we have Texas Tech heading over to Tempe, Arizona to take on Arizona State. Sun Devils, unfortunately, just like in 2024 when Sam Leavitt was out with an injury, they lose on the road and quite big. And we also think they're going to be losing here again. We'll have a update towards the end of the stream with our new section with a Sam Leavitt. Again, update on his injury and how that is all cracking out to be. Let's go Red Raiders. Fastest scoring offense in the nation. Also really good in the run defense. Probably one of the best in the country. They will most likely overwhelm the Sun Devils there in Tempe. As we continue to move through the top 10, number 6, we have Oregon. They head to the East Coast to take on Rutgers. We are picking the Ducks, obviously. They're going to bounce back. There's no way they fall apart. Dan Lanning will have his team ready to go there against the Scarlet Knights. They are favored by 17 points. Maybe they cover there. We'll see. As we're going to take the Ducks definitely there. Alabama will be playing Tennessee, which means it's the 3rd October, or 3rd Saturday in October. Geez, 3rd October. Imagine if we had 3 Octobers. Regardless, Alabama is who we're going with. Tennessee has looked too shaky for us. I think the secondary has a lot of holes. Even though that front end will be carrying the load for that Volunteers defense. But, you know, the reinserted Jam Miller coming off of injury has really revitalized this offense and getting it going. I think it'll continue to happen this upcoming weekend. Bama gets the job done, and they will be smoking their victory cigars in Tuscaloosa. Ole Miss, in a top 10 matchup, will head to Athens, Georgia to take on the Bulldogs. And just like we showed you in our hypothetical college football bracket, if the season ended after week 7, we picked Ole Miss because in that scenario, they did have a matchup against Georgia. And we're taking them on the road. If we took them in a neutral site situation, yeah, we're going to take the Rebels. They will be, I think, bouncy back. Lane Kiffin will be lighting his guys up and will be having them well prepared for Kirby Smart. And if this happens, this will be 2 in a row. I don't know when's the last time Ole Miss has done that. I think you have to go back to the 90s possibly, where they beat Georgia 2 times in a row. I know the last win in Athens goes back to the Tommy Tuberville era there in Oxford. So massive win if they can get the job done. I think we will see it happen. I think this is also the only one where maybe I might change the pick when we do all, I don't know how many games are coming up this week because I didn't have a chance to count them yet. But when we do the full weekend preview on Wednesday, that and a couple other ones is where we might flip. But for sure right now, we're going with Ole Miss. We have Arkansas hosting Texas A&M. A bit of a rivalry game there. Last year it was played in the Jerry Dome. This year is in Fayetteville, which is quite nice that college football fans get to watch their college team there where they kind of belong. Regardless, we are going to go with A&M. I don't know why the graphic says Arkansas. I must have not cleared it up, but we'll fix it up in the post, which is totally fine in the clips. But yeah, we're going to go A&M. We'll definitely see my pick in the big graphic when we see that here in a few moments. A&M, I think one of the best all-around teams in general. Offensive line, they're rolling. They also have depth. You have Marcel Reed, who's just progressing, and he really hasn't had a chance since that Notre Dame game to really show his capabilities. Obviously, this is not going to be a crazy game, even though Arkansas last week tested Tennessee. They should not be testing Texas A&M whatsoever. So let's go Aggies. Final 2 games are in the Big Ten. The first one is Ohio State. Heading over to Madison. We're going to go with the Buckeyes. They should be getting the job done there. And they're also favored by 25 points, which is a massive margin that I don't think Wisconsin will be able to not prove to be true. Didn't score a single point against Iowa last week. This should be the final game for Luke Fickell as the Badgers head coach. Very surprised that he did not get let go and was a part of the firing yesterday. But we'll just have to wait until see after this weekend's results, because that most likely will happen. Indiana, the new number 1, they will be hosting Michigan State. They're favored by 27 points. I think they can blow out the Spartans for sure. This is like the worst team in the Big Ten that the Hoosiers will be playing so far this season. And yeah, they'll be putting up the points. Mendoza, that running game. Hemby, Black. You got Surratt, Cooper out wide. You got a stacked defense with a ton of depth there at the linebacker position. Fisher, Jones. Defensive line. They transfer Wyatt from Maryland. Secondary, Pons, Moore, Farrell. Just names you just need to know because this Hoosier team is legit. That's why they're the new number 1 here at your Sports Outpost. As this is the correct graphic and our predictions. Obviously, we're going Utah, Texas A&M there. I'll fix it in the clips. Let us know your picks.